the Baen Free Radio Hour.
Hello and welcome to the Baen Free Radio Hour. This week, Jeremy Comeaux sits down with Jason Cordova and Melissa Olthoff for part one of his interview of them for their amazing novel, To Tread Obsidian Shores. And we continue with One Jump Ahead by Mark L. Van Name, part 44.
All right, welcome everyone to another episode. It's Old Home Week here at Baen, where we've got Miss Melissa Olthoff and Jason Cordova. I'm your host, Jeremy Comeaux. That's enough about me. Let's get to the reason why we're here. First of all, we're here to talk about your new book that came out, Treading on Obsidian Shores. Am I saying that right?
To Tread Obsidian Shores. It's very snooty.
Okay.
It's incredibly pretentious, and we love our pretentious title, even though I 100% just call this Bronze Legion.
All right. So, since you brought it up, let's talk about the title. How did you come about the title?
So, yeah, I was like, I already know this one's all me. This is my fault. Tony Weisskopf has yelled at me repeatedly about it. I don't care. I came up with about 13 different potential titles. And this was the snootiest I could find of the 13 I had. So I was going for like a vibe of what David Drake and David Weber, what their title combined would look like. And this is what I came up with.
So why snooty? What made you want to go snooty?
Oh, it just sounds so... Like I've been reading a lot of David Weber lately, and I was reading his Safehold series, and Off Armageddon Reef and Like a Mighty Army. You have these epic, snooty, pretentious-esque titles, and I was like, I want to be like that. And Melissa said, "Please don't drag me into it," and I dragged her into it.
I was like, man, you've got a whole bunch of titles, and it was actually really fun trying to figure out how to work that title into the story in a way that made sense. So this is actually fun.
Yeah.
Well, and I told you before we started recording, I really had fun reading this. I am not what you would call a military sci-fi junkie, but it's like one time I told a friend of mine, I don't really like Scotch, and he goes, "Shut up and sit down." And he says, "You know why you don't like Scotch? Because you haven't had good Scotch." And he was right. And so I think maybe early on in my reading career, I had read some not so good military sci-fi, and it's like, it all sucks. And I am happy to be proven wrong. So this one got me. Like I told y'all before, I would watch this movie. But before we get into it, let's talk a little bit more about you guys. How did the idea for the book come about?
So Jason is the one who actually came up with the idea originally.
So I came up with the idea, and I had the idea of this orphan kid who was very naive in terms of how certain things work, but very street smart in other ways. And he wanted to get off his world before he gets caught and killed by a bunch of overzealous revolutionaries. That was the plot from the beginning. And he joins the equivalent of the French Foreign Legion, but it's the Martian Foreign Legion. But about a quarter of the way into writing it, because I actually started it by myself, I realized it needed something, and I didn't know what it was. And then I realized I needed these pilots who would come down on high from the stars to pull our boys off the planet. But I only know a few pilots or people who are pilot adjacent. And I didn't know who I wanted to ask to write with this until I read Melissa's Rise from Ruin before anybody else. And
There it is.
Record that I read it before.
We'll come back to that.
And after I read Rise from Ruin, I realized this is my co-author. I really, really need to write with her. So I immediately told her how much I loved Rise from Ruin. And I said, "Oh, and by the way, would you like to write a book with me?"
Point of order. point of order. So Jason skipped some steps there. What had happened was Jason read Rise from Ruin. No comment on who read it first. But so he reads it. He gives me excellent feedback and like praised the heck out of it and made my face turn bright red, which is amazing. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm having trouble with this this book I'm working on. Can I chat with you about it?" I'm like, "Heck yeah." So we chat about it, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, you could do this or you could do that." And we're talking. He's like, by the way, you're going to write this with me. I'm like, "Okay." So there was just casual talking before you're going to write this with me. I'm like, twist my arm.
That's a very common approach to co-writing that I've seen amongst our friend group is like that. Oh, you're gonna write this with me, by the way, and just keep going. Yeah, it's amazing how many times I've heard that story, especially amongst our little circle.
It is a trend.
So, have y'all written together before?
Nope.
Oh, well, good job.
I didn't even, honestly, up until I read Rise from Ruin, I didn't even know. I knew of Melissa. We'd met a couple times, but I didn't really like know her.
Mm-hmm.
And then we wrote, and then we started talking about Rise from Ruin, and we started talking about To Tread Obsidian Shores, and then we were talking pretty regularly, helping plot ideas. She was bouncing ideas for Griffins 2 off me. I was bouncing random ideas for about 8 different projects I was working on off her.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, if it's one of those, like, I have no idea when we actually became friends because we met at Fantasy, which is a small convention that was out in Raleigh. It's now going to be relocated, but that was time math years ago. And then so we'd see each other at conventions and hang out at BarCon and whatnot. But the really cool thing is that over the course of writing this book, my kids have gone from Mr. Jason to Uncle Jason. So Jason has been upgraded in the family status with the kids, which is always amazing.
Yeah, it kind of makes it official. So I screwed up and I didn't follow my own rules. And I told you guys that y'all would be able to promote anything you wanted to promote. So before we go too much further, and I forget, because this is going to be a 2-parter, go ahead and promote anything introduce yourself, promote anything you want to promote.
Introduce myself. We are 10 minutes in. Let's introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
My name is Jason Cordova. I'm a Dragon Award and John Campbell Award finalist. I'm also associate editor at Bain Books. I have a few anthologies I edited, including one coming out in 2 months with Larry Correa titled The Monster Hunter Files Volume 2, which Melissa Olthoff is in.
Sorry, I'm still geeking out about that. Like,
weeks came out.
And then I also have a short story coming out the same month in Jamie Ibsen, Plausibly Deniable, with Melissa as well, set in the Bronze Legion universe.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And then I think that's it for now that I have coming out that I know of dates.
Okay. And Melissa, anything you would like to talk about, promote? So
I am Melissa Olthoff. Obviously, I write sci-fi and fantasy and always sneak in romance because why not? I write for Bain. I write for CKP. I have more projects right now than I can even talk about or count. But things that I do have coming up, like Jason said, I've got the short stories and the Monster Hunter Files 2 anthology, which is just like the coolest thing ever. We have that short story in Plausibly Deniable. And I have a release date for Griffins 2, Tempered by Fire, which will be out July 7th next year. And I am so excited. Yeah, the cover is awesome. Like, I don't know if you can show it, Jeremy, but that cover is gorgeous. Pierluigi Abbondanza, he is a Dragon Award finalist for cover art. He is so talented, and I'm so lucky to get to work with him. He did the cover art for To Tread Obsidian Shores as well.
Yes, we requested him specifically.
Oh,
and
awesome.
Melissa, it's July of 2026, not next year, not 27.
Well, because, all right, guys, this is why Melissa does not do time math, because while we are recording this, it is still 2025. But when this comes out, it will be, like Jason said, 2026. So, yes, summer of 26.
I don't want to confuse people.
I'm trying to look up Griffin's 2. What's the title?
Tempered by Fire.
And that cover art, oh my God.
Yeah.
They were shrieking. Jason heard it all the way from Memphis. No notes. It was so amazing. The colors, oh, the colors are gorgeous. It's almost like my shirt.
I think this is it.
Play the Jeopardy theme. No pressure there, Jeremy, at all. No pressure.
None at all.
All right, people,
Go what post-production's for.
We'll do that later. So, congratulations. Isn't there something else that you do on a pretty regular basis?
You know, now that you mention it, there is something that I do pretty regularly. You know, every Wednesday, I do believe we have a producer named Jeremy. Might be the same.
An image. Hold on.
Yeah. So we have the Feral Ladies podcast with Marisa Wolf and Casey Izell, and we are feral. We do not follow rules, not even our own. And Jeremy is our long-suffering and amazing producer who makes all of the background awesomeness happen. And we will have Jason on at some point in the next couple of weeks so we can talk, Bronze Legion and shenanigans, and maybe like we'll come up with a good topic, Jason. It'll be fun.
Oh, just get me some screwball and we'll come up with all kinds of topics.
I'll do a thirsty feral ladies one. Not that kind of thirsty. Just saying. I'm so proud of myself.
You made me choke on my own spit, and we're only in 15
I did. I'm real proud of that one.
All right. Well, congratulations on all the cool projects. And so how, just to learn a little bit more about you guys, from what I know about both of you, y'all put out some work. Like, how many? I mean, Melissa, you have a couple series, plus your series with Bane that part 2 is coming out on, and you got like an adult job. Y'all both have like adult jobs that y'all have to do. How do you get it all in?
I don't sleep much.
Is an option.
Yeah.
No, it's a combination of things for me. So my husband travels for work, which means that there are a lot of nights where after the kids are in bed, I don't have anything to do outside of either write or watch TV. And consider the fact that Stranger Things has not dropped the second half of season 5 yet. I have plenty of time with nothing else to do but work on the various projects. So that's part of it. And the other part is the kids are older and a little bit more self-sufficient and different parenting challenges. And my day job is challenging but awesome and uses an entirely different part of my brain. So I don't burn out between the accounting and the writing. So it's a good balance.
And Jason, since you work in editing, I mean, how do because all you do is read.
Actually, I don't read as much. Part of my job is just putting out a lot of fires. I've only recently has Tony been asking me to do editing stuff. But I get up and I'm in the office by 7 a.m. and that gives me, because we don't officially open till 9, that gives me 2 hours of writing time.
Oh, cool.
And then late at night after 7 p.m. when I finally shut off my work email, that gives me 2 to 3 more hours of writing. So I can get about 5 consistent hours a day writing. And I don't have, unlike Melissa, I don't have kids. So I don't have to worry about that. I'm literally like, I'll lock my office shut and let's get some work done.
All about that.
Yeah. And speaking of the book, so y'all, this is the first time y'all have collaborated to work on a project. how'd you split the work up?
Pretty 50-50.
50-50. It helps that we have we have 4 POV characters in this series so far. The 2 main ones are Tabby and Blue. Tabby is Jason's POV character and Blue is mine. Now when we're writing, we'll tweak things here and there in each other's POV sections, but for the most part, the bulk of writing Tabby's scenes lies on Jason, and same thing with me with Blue. And we kept those scenes pretty well balanced with a few extras from our 2 secondary POV characters. So it's about 50-50. And we do a lot of chaos plotting, what I call chaos plotting.
Yeah. And then that was the first draft. And then the second draft, what we do is we go through and read each other's sections, and we do a blending where it sounds like it's not 2 completely different people writing. We try to mesh our voices. We'll throw in lines that sound like the other person.
Yep.
Okay, because y'all did do a good job, because I listen to Melissa talk a lot, because I edit videos with her, many videos with her in it. I definitely heard phrases that she uses, but I also saw them in areas where, it was kind of Tavi's point of view, and I was like, wait a minute, I know Melissa didn't write this whole thing, and so you did a good job, is what I'm saying, because I'm reading along, I was like, oh yeah, Melissa definitely said that, and like the rage thing, and the just a bunch of things I've heard you say in life, and I was like, oh yeah, that's well, she definitely wrote this. So y'all did a good job there, because I really couldn't tell where one started and the other began, except for the fact that you told me which sections you actually wrote, point of view wise. And so did you have favorite characters besides your point of views?
Campbell is fun.
Yeah.
Jabber.
Ordo.
Jabber.
Ordo's good. Yeah, Ordo got real good to me towards
Ordo's Carvalho, but that's only because of what we did to him in the free short story that's up on Bane.com right now.
Oh, I was going to ask.
Huh?
Yeah, they're all great characters. I love Killy, my main character, Blue's best friend, though, that is debatable if Killy keeps up her shenanigans. Blue might find a different best friend. We'll see. They're just so much fun.
And I really liked how Melissa handled Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Hey
so
is so much fun. Yes. So Jason did such a great job creating like the Legionnaires, like between Sergeant Ord and Jabber and Vixen. Vixen is hilarious. It's just the thing though, like you guys notice the more we talk about this, the more we're like, oh, and this character, and this character, and this, because all of these characters they're real to us because we're crazy, but also because we're good at what we do. And I can hear their voices. Jason and I were talking a few times throughout the week, and it's like, oh yeah, I can hear their voices again, because when you have to work on other projects, you got to box those voices up and put them aside so they don't, creep into a different universe where they don't belong, but they're still there, and it's so much fun.
And another thing I noticed is y'all had a like a subgroup of people who had a particular accent or used particular words. It was almost like a Creole.
Oh, Jason.
That's all me. That was all me. I
Did I
pretty much
look into
invented
it?
a language.
Yes.
I've got a dictionary of what every word means in our series Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I have built a language, and that was not intentional. I just wanted good swear words that weren't swear words, and it kind of blew up from there.
Yeah, it almost made me think of Creole, kind of like, well, I'm from Louisiana, and I used to hear it all the time, and it reminded me of that, and then kind of like what a mixture of what they did in Outer Space Show, really awesome.
The Expanse.
Thank you.
The Expanse. Yes.
What they did on that, it was a form of Creole, and that's what it reminded me of. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, because I could get into this because I have my own so I live here in the frozen north now, and all my little colloquialisms, I have to explain most of them because I'll say something and people look at me like, "What the hell did you just say?" And I have to. It's not as funny when I have to explain it, But so that really triggered me to where I was like, "Oh yeah," I used to hear all these cool words, growing up, and I use some of them, and all my Southernisms. When I get dirty looks from these Yankees up here, I tend to double down on my Southernisms.
As you should.
Yes, and so that was fun.
I said that as a Yankee, just to be clear.
Well, I mean, you're in Tennessee.
I have no dog in this fight. I'm from the West Coast.
I mean, I'm from all over Florida, Michigan, Ohio. That was weird, but.
So, wait. So, do you have a favorite character? And it can be the main point of view, or.
I like Ordo. I really, really like Ordo. I really like Ordo. Sergeant Ord. I really like it. I mean, Tabby's awesome. Tabby's cool. Blue is awesome. Blue's cool. It's just Sergeant Ord just knows everything. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how, but he knows everything.
He's not afraid to get sassy.
Senior NCOs know far more than anybody thinks they know, but I am who I am. So my favorite character is got to be the hot guy, which is, Ensign Garrett Hotness Campbell. So I like him. Ensign Hotness. I like him so much because when we first developed him, he's a pretty boy. Like he just wants to have fun and everything. But like as we got more into his character, like we got to reveal the depth that his character has. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe you are worthy of Blue. We'll see. But all of them are so much fun.
I'm not going to say why he's a poor guy, but that poor guy.
Oh no, you can talk about that. That scene's actually available for free up to that point for free.
Oh, we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're talking about where he gets like just beat to crap by Tabby on accident.
I had so much fun writing that scene. Oh my god. Poor Campbell. Okay, y'all. So Campbell is not just a pretty face. He is trained to fight. He can hold his own, but Tabby is on a whole nother level. So when Tabby when Tabby decides to play the hero and what he misunderstands is happening between Campbell and Blue, it goes very poorly for our poor Ensign Hotness and his hot face. Oops.
And that's not even so that yes, and that's not even what I was talking about. Poor Campbell. It was throughout the whole length of the book. Poor Campbell.
Well, we do that, poor guy.
Okay, look, guys, I am a fan of a slow burn, and you know what? When both the characters really don't want a slow burn, you got to throw obstacles in their way, which is exactly why we're saying poor Campbell.
And
he's gonna.
I kind of have a reputation of doing the worst possible things you can to a character, and what we did to him is one of the worst things I could do to any young, attractive guy who's got a girl who's totally has the hots for him. So I'm just going to keep denying.
Yeah.
Don't worry. At some point, we will be nicer to him. But that time is not. It's not yet.
The time is not now.
That poor bastard. Anyway,
we're so evil.
Because I know, Melissa, that you try to sneak in romance in just about anything you write, and I was like,
I don't even sneak it anymore.
There
it is.
It's gonna happen, and I was like, oh, poor bastard. Anyway. So the way I would describe this book was at first it was like military sci-fi, but y'all did such a great job of not using acronyms. Y'all did a great job of that because that's one thing that kills me about a lot of military sci-fi is the overuse of acronyms, and even when y'all used an acronym, you explained what it was. And it was great. And I appreciate that. And it kept me in the story. But I really liked the relationships, not just the romantic ones, just the overall relationships throughout the book. It really made me care about the characters, what happened to them, how they, interact and all that. And I kind of wanted to talk about like the shenanigans, the fun stuff, and all that happened kind of through the book, like getting even and all that stuff.
Well, it's
Jason
one of the things that writing with a co-author like Melissa is we view characters differently.
Mm.
Like you heard us listing our favorite characters and who they were, but when you're writing them interacting with one another, you have to remember it's like modern writing kind of sucks because it's always trying to one up each other. And good storytelling isn't about one-upping each other, but telling a story to the best of your capabilities. And we wanted our characters to not only shine, but do it not at the expense of others, except Vixen. Vixen totally earns every abuse he gets.
Every last one.
Everything he gets, he earned.
He's like, what? I didn't even do nothing.
Yeah, you did.
But
that's the thing, though. Like, so Jason and I are both military veterans, and if you talk with any veteran and you ask them, what do you miss about being in the service? And none of us are going to say, oh man, I miss the job. I miss the admin creep. I miss all. No, you miss the people. You miss the relationships that you built while you were serving. Like the brothers and sisters in arms thing. It's real. You don't do the crazy shit that you do because of some lofty ideal. You do it for the dude next to you. And that's what we were really trying to show with these characters is they're doing what they're doing, especially when things start to go very wrong. They're doing it for each other. So building those relationships from the ground up, from the beginning, was how that story gets carried through, is off of those relationships.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. And it wasn't all, oh, I love you. There was some people like pissing each other off and getting even. And I really, really like that. Besides just your general experiences in the military and in life and everything, did you pull off of anything specific that happened in your life, or is it just kind of a general?
Well, I've been out long enough that I can admit to this one. The rack full of lard that might have happened to somebody while I was in the Navy.
Might have.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Anything else that you can think of, or is it just general experience?
Oof.
Lots of general experience. The swampy scene, that was pulling off of some experiences I had during SEER training, and then also overseas. Just that cold, watery, just not quite swamp, but not quite dry land feeling as you're just hoofing it through everything, and you're miserable, you're cold, but you're also hot and sweaty, and you just feel disgusting. And
there's definitely got some flashbacks with that one, because a lot of the experiences I had as a cadet were down in Florida, where you do get that swampy, sandy mix of land. But some of the more fun stuff with the bar fight scene.
It's just Saginaw as a whole.
Saginaw as a whole, like just the whole.
Right. I didn't know if that's how you pronounced it.
I really wanted the line "Good morning, Saginaw." I really, really wanted the line. So I said, Melissa, can you please name this planet this?
Yeah, so, I'm like, done.
So for the children watching this, anybody, I guess, under 30, there was a movie back in the day called Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams, and it was awesome.
The
And
goat.
so, for the children.
So, yes, for the onions.
So I'm trying to collect my thoughts here. I enjoyed like the interaction and the tomfoolery, if you would, that occurred. Like if somebody, it's like we're all here. It's like we're in the ship together, and we've got to be here. Let's make it fun, but be careful who you piss off, because they might control your life at some point. And there were some aspects of that in this book that I really like. It made me giggle. I enjoyed it. Mainly the one that I'm specifically speaking about is when they're in the plane and they're yelling at Top because he must put somebody off. I don't want to give it away, but I really enjoy it.
It's not my fault.
Poor Tabby. It's blamed for everything.
Okay. So this is just a PSA for all Legionnaires out there. Perhaps don't piss off your Rhino pilot just before having to do a simulated combat drop, because it might get a little turbulent. Just saying.
So and I like the rules. The rules made me giggle too. It's like if you do it, you got to clean it.
Come on, the pilots are not going to clean the dropship. No, we will find other people to do that for us.
Yeah. So since you brought it up, let's talk about like one of the main characters in the book that is not a person, and it's the Rhino. So y'all want to describe that airship.
That's your baby.
Okay. So Jason very awesomely was like, okay, like he just said, it's my baby. He's like, you design them, you tell me what they can and can't do. And while I was a pilot for a hot second in the Air Force before I was medically disqualified, I happened to be married to a pilot who flew Strike Eagles and is also an aerospace engineer by degree, if not trade. So I unashamedly used that resource and sat down with my husband, and it was so much fun because we got to like design it from scratch. Like, okay, this is what I need this to do. It doesn't need to be like the super fast ones. It doesn't need to be like, it's the equivalent of a C-130. Okay. So it's not like the C-17 where it's like, this is peacetime, super safe, all very comfy. And it's not like super badass like a Warthog or anything, but it is versatile, and it is rugged, and it is a beast of an assault shuttle, and it does the job. But most of that job entails carrying a metric ton, censoring myself. Look at that. I didn't swear. Good me.
I think I've cursed more than you have this time.
I'm doing so good. But yeah, no, the Rhinos have to carry a lot of ammo because they do have, hey, my gunners, their cherished miniguns, which I also had fun designing. And it needs to carry enough ammo for the railgun, and it needs to carry, a full squad of Legionnaires and the aircrew. And that means it is a sizable beast of an aircraft. And I love those things. I love those things to pieces. They're not pretty. They're not the fastest or the most agile, but they will get the job done.
Yeah. I mean, just from the name, it just gives just a thick airplane, beast of a plane.
Yeah. Pierluigi
Wonky.
painted a beautiful spaceship on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
There's a beautiful spaceship on the cover, and we were looking at that like, that's gorgeous, but that's not a Rhino, but it's so pretty.
It is so pretty. I love it. You can it's kind of like tucked behind the title, but yeah, those Rhinos, they've been in service for a long time. So like I said, they're the equivalent of the C-130, which has also been in service for a long time. I legit met a maintainer who worked on a C-130 that his father had worked on when he was active duty. The exact same aircraft. So, I mean, they built the C-130s to last, and that's what I tried to do with the Rhinos.
And then one of the coolest things we got notes-wise from Tony Weisskopf was she was saying, because we used pretty much the same gun that the Warthog uses. And you know, when the Warthog, it can't fire that 30 millimeter minigun fully for a long time because it literally will stop itself in the air. And Tony was complaining. She's like, well, wouldn't this throw off the aircraft? And we're just like, well, I guess. So Melissa came up with this really cool system called the RATS, which literally has reverse propulsion that every time the gun fires, it fires a rocket. So it absorbs the recoil for it. And I'm reading this after she came up with this idea. And I'm like, this is nuts. I mean, it's awesome, but it's nuts.
So here's the crazy thing. And like that part of the book was like where Melissa does, like, so we say Jason does science, and this was like Melissa does aerospace engineering. I got halfway through that degree, by the way, before I was like, nope, not for me. But again, I have an awesome I came up with the idea and he helped me refine it into something that was workable. But he also laughed so hard at that feedback because it's like, okay, look, guys, I don't know if you've heard of the AC-130, but it has an equivalent gun out the side of the aircraft. And guess what, y'all? It does not throw that aircraft off with 1970s technology of like it. Trust me, what I did is nothing. It is an extrapolation of what we already have. And we figured that out. We figured out recoil in the 1970s. Like, this is sci-fi. We've got this, right?
So there's a fair amount of science in this book. Shocker, it's science fiction.
Right.
And what was like some fun research that you got to do?
Jason,
I got to blow up a mountain. What did you do?
Jason does science. Like, oh, not science.
So I created a volcano. They thought it was extinct, but it was just dormant. I figured out. I did a lot of research on Krakatoa and also the underwater volcano that blew up a couple years ago. I can't remember what it's called right now, and how the reaction would be if, like, I don't know, a couple million cubic gallons of salt water gets dumped into a superheated, ginormous magma chamber about 2 miles underground, and how big of an explosion would that lead to if the gases had nowhere to go, kind of thing. And then I was like, well, okay, so this gravity world is pretty close to Earth and the sea is shallow. So how big would that tsunami be? How far inland would it get to go? I got the science and I was so proud of myself.
It was good.
Yeah.
I got winded reading this book. It was good. It was like, I was holding my breath. I was like, all right, Jeremy, breathe.
Yeah, Jason did all of the awesome science stuff for the volcano. And then I got to dig into, okay, like volcanic ash operations are 100% a thing. Like, how does this actually affect aircraft? How is that going to affect something like the Rhino, which is a VTOL and has atmospheric engines? And the answer is, oh no. Like,
also, you got to pull in your weather degree.
I use my weather degree for both the hurricane and the volcano and what kind of weather a volcano tends to generate, which unsurprisingly is bad. And ash is like sand. It gets everywhere. And when you're talking about atmospheric engines that need to draw in air, they're going to get fragged pretty freaking quick, even with advanced technologies. So, or at least the level of technology that we created for this universe. And it was a lot of fun figuring out, okay, what systems is it going to affect? How quickly is it going to affect it? The one thing I had to be careful of was pulling up some of those old, like, no kidding, I found like the ATC tapes for a few, there were at least 2 different commercial flights that accidentally flew through volcanic ash. And I had to make sure I listened to those on headphones because children. Like there are some things the kids are not ready to listen to yet. So I was like, okay, that was a little heart pounding for me. I'll save that for when they're older and they want to learn about this stuff, but not yet. Not when their daddy is flying airplanes, right? No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I would watch this movie because there was times I was holding my breath, like, what is going to happen? And I can't say too much because it'll ruin the book. But
bad things.
And it was here and it was here and it was down there and up there and it was great. So of course, this is the first book in hopefully a series.
It's a trilogy. We signed a contract right out the gate for a trilogy for this. So yeah.
Well, I'm here for it. So let's make that happen. So
and we have plans for like books 4 through 12.
Oh, yeah. So minimum trilogy.
Minimum trilogy.
All right.
And we're doing pretty good on book 2 already. So it's we should be turning it in by the end of March.
So y'all just don't sleep, huh?
No. I literally just finished a secret project and I took 3 days.
I gave you 3 days.
Yep, 3 days off. You did. You very nicely gave me 3 days to get my brain a tiny break. And here we are, back at it again.
Oh, y'all must love what y'all do because, man, that's some work.
Yeah, we do.
So speaking of, to start a series, you generally have to do world building. And y'all did a good job with that. Let's describe the universe in which we work in with this one.
Whew. Okay, so that's a lot to unpack.
It's a long story.
Let's start with Tabby.
Yeah.
Tabby is genetically a tyrant, which is a superhuman. Yeah, capital T on the tyrant. They're super genetically modified humans, but he's only half-ish because of who his father was.
Mm-hmm.
It's also what leads him to join the Legion in the first place because he's trying to escape because everybody who has the blood of the tyrants is being killed off. On this world, it's a poison world. Everybody lives deep underground, so that way when the acid rain comes down, it filters through all the limestone and everything, and the deeper you are, the safer you are. Tabby, because he's poor, lives near the crust, near the surface. So he didn't get the advantages of it. The Protector of Mars existed as a refugee colony after Earth destroyed the original Mars colony in our universe. And they formed the Protectorate of Mars in a new location,
on Mars Primus.
On Mars Primus. And right now they have about 12 worlds, but they're trying to get two new more who are trying to join them. And there's a bureaucracy. It's like adding a new state.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue's family is from Mars Primus, aren't they?
So this was where it was really fun doing the world building with Jason because Jason is so freaking good at this, you guys. I'm just like, I've got characters and I'm gonna tell a story. Jason's like, here's all this backstory and history and all. I'm like taking notes, like, okay, this is how we do this. All right, very, very cool. So yeah, like Jason said, like Earth is not the heroes of the story. We kind of avoid them because they're mean. They destroyed Mars, which was. It's like our planet Mars, right? It's inhospitable, it's rocky, it's red, it's you can't really live there. So when their home gets destroyed, they find a new planet that happens to be a lush like paradise world, and it's gorgeous, it's wonderful, we love it. Blue's family is partly from Mars Primus, like half her family is there. The other half of her family is they came to Mars Primus the other way. Her grandfather joined the Legion and earned his citizenship. So she has two very different branches of her family. One is very like proper, and the other is like let's rage. Look out for your boys, Blue, and have fun on your deployment is kind of her grandpa's thing. So. It was really fun building these different cultures. one of the things that I got to play with, and this is 100% a nod to Anne McCaffrey, was the Survey Corps. So I read a short story. It was one of the Dragon Riders of Pern series. It was just a short story about the survey crew that found Pern. And I don't remember much about it, but I remember thinking like, wow, that is so cool. Like their whole job is to go find like planets that humans can live on and colonize and whatnot. So I'm like, I want to do that here. I want to have, like, Jason created the Legion. I'm like, I want to have the Survey Corps. And the Survey Corps is like a whole different branch that their whole job is to find worlds that we can inhabit, figure out terraforming, figure out like, okay, is this world safe? Is it good enough to even be considered for the Protectorate? And it was really fun building up that structure. And Blue in particular really wanted to join that organization because her grandmother on the other side, so she has a Legion grandfather and she had a legend of the Survey Corps grandmother, and she wanted to be just like her. And she just wasn't quite good enough to join the Survey Corps out of the gate. But that is like her driving motivation, is to go see what's out there. So that was so much fun getting to build that part of the universe. And Jason made it even better. He's like, what if we do this, and then we could twist it like this? And I'm like, more notes. Cool. This is amazing. Yep. I think, honestly, if you guys have that laying down here.
Oh, what?
I
was just saying, the cool thing about the Survey Corps
from each other
is that their model is much like the Coast Guard, where you have to go out there and search, but you don't have to come back.
Dun, dun, dun. No, this is one of those things where I love working with different co-authors, because I learned something from every single one of them. Like Nick Steverson taught me how to find plot holes. Jason is like, he says I'm good at world building, but holy crap, am I learning so much about world building from working with him. And it's amazing. Like just the amount of depth that Jason puts into this stuff is so cool.
Well, one thing I really appreciated is that you made Tavi a wee fella. As a wee fella, I really appreciated that. and he's a bit of a badass. So, I just really appreciated that about the character,
Yes.
Because he's special. It's not just like his heritage, but he's special because he did well in his program, and like one of the youngest guys, or what was his accolades?
Distinguished honor graduate from Advanced Infantry School.
Yes.
Or the equivalent of it. I forget what we called it.
Advanced Combat School, I think.
That sounds right. I was like, ACS sounds right. So
yes.
Advanced Combat School. And he's the first Distinguished Honor grad to get stuck with the 13th Legion, the Bronze Legion, in over a decade. They don't usually get the best of the best. They get the ones nobody else seems to want.
Oh,
even though they are an elite force.
They're like our recon guys, right? Like they're the ones that they're quick deploying. They are always mobilized. Unlike the other legions that we have, these guys live on their ships, which created some interesting problems that we got to solve, mostly involving the Ravens sanctioned bar. It was allowed, just saying. But no, it was really cool how Jason envisioned how the 13th would work. Like they are a rapid response unit. Tavi getting assigned Blue's first chapter, she's like, I'm sorry, wait, we're picking up a noob from ACS for the Bronze? What?
Yeah.
She was, and then she got a front row seat to why a small, undersized baby Legionnaire like Tavi went straight to the Bronze. So she's like, oh dang, okay. All right. This ought to be good.
And then Campbell got firsthand experience.
Oh, his poor face. What did you do to Ensign Hotness's face?
And I love the fact that he got thanked for it afterwards and didn't get in trouble.
that was unique. It's like, oh my god, this kid's life is over, and then nothing. Well, some behind the scenes stuff happened to him, but nothing detrimental to his life.
No, there is such a thing as revenge, but revenge of the appropriate, non-career damaging, non-official type. But
Like,
here's the thing:
you have to babysit an officer at a biscuits and tea dinner,
right? Gotta watch out for those political shindigs.
Yeah.
But that is one of the reasons why I really do like Campbell. Is on the surface he is a fuckboy, and really though he thanks Tavi because Tavi was doing the right thing, even though Campbell's face paid the price for it.
Tavi didn't know.
It's not my fault is like the best thing that we pulled through the story, and we will pull throughout the entire series. Is Tavi, poor Tavi, just going, it's not my fault. Like, bro,
he did the right thing, man. No, but again, I just really appreciate you making him small. I got a kick out of that.
Hold on that.
So the 500, am I remembering that right?
The original 500, yeah.
Yeah. What's that about?
Oh, this is Jason. Okay. So I was envisioning how much power an original colonist on, kind of like the Mayflowers,
Mm-hmm.
there was a time in Ivy League schools where you weren't into some of the more prestigious fraternities or sororities unless you were on the Mayflower or your ancestors were from the Mayflower.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of one of those like, well, my family's been here for blah, blah, blah. The original 500 families are those people. They're the ones who were the very first colonists who fled Mars and settled Mars Primus. They formed the government. They built everything from scratch. They pooled all the resources that they had monetary wise to build this, to get this place off the ground. And in return, they got perks. They became quasi nobles almost.
Mm-hmm.
And then as more people settled, it became almost like this is the upper crust. And then there's everybody else.
Yep.
Which for now, that's fine. It works.
For now, there will be trouble later, but for now, it's like, oh crap, that dude's one of the 500. And what I really love is that originally we had Jason to put the 300, and then we're like, no, because now all I could think of is that movie with Spartans and all the abs. And then I was very distracted, so I'm like, no, we can't do that.
Take a sip of your drink, calm down.
I am who I am.
Do you have your emotional support drink near you?
I have water for now, but my mocha.
Yeah, I'm just drinking water.
So, yeah, we're always with the feral ladies. We're always joking about the emotional support drinks.
Oh yeah, this is sadly empty though. I will have to get a refill after this.
So, so I know Melissa has had writing partners before. Jason, have you had writing partners?
Oh yeah. I've collaborated with everybody. Let's see, collaborated with Eric S. Brown, Kevin Eikenberry. I've collaborated with Nick Steverson. And Chris L. Smith. I've collaborated with him. Larry Correa. We're writing in his Monster Hunting universe together. Is that it?
Jason is really good at collaboration.
I think that. Oh, and I've got a secret collaboration I can't talk about yet.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I know this.
That one I'm particularly proud of.
When can we expect news on that?
Probably this summer.
No, tease. All right.
I think Tony will announce it at LibertyCon.
Oh, awesome. Okay. And Melissa, I know you've also written with Nick Steverson. Who else have you written?
So I have co-written a short story with Marisa. I have obviously written quite a few now, like 2 short stories with Jason, and halfway through novel 2. I have co-written with Casey Morse. We wrote in the Blood and Armor series that Bill Fawcett started. We wrote book 4 together, which was amazing. we call him Boy Casey. That way we don't confuse Casey as L and Casey Morse, but he's my oldest friend. So getting to work with him was amazing. We've co-written like 2 short stories together too, in Bill Webb's LBU universe. And it's always so much fun working with him. And I have a secret that I cannot talk about, but at some point I'll get to talk about it.
Soon. It's going to be soon. It's going to be soon because we got the press release ready. We just need to wait for a couple things to fall into place.
I'm so excited! Like, y'all, the shriek I shrieked on that one. Woo.
So I'm assuming it's good news. All right. Do you what are like the pros and cons? Do you have a preference of co-writing versus writing alone? Because you've done both. What do you like? What's better to you? That kind of stuff.
It really depends. For me, it depends on the project.
Mm-hmm.
I tried writing the solo originally, and it wasn't going anywhere. I couldn't figure out what the problem was. The minute Melissa agreed to write co-author with me, we started bouncing ideas off each other. We wrote this book in 2 months, and that was while I was going through cancer surgery and treatments.
Yep.
That's crazy.
We raged through this one. It was because we had fun.
Yeah. We started a week before Dragon Con. We turned that book in. Well, at least we had the first draft done by the end of October.
Yep, we went through it.
How y'all do that? Marissa's like that too. She'll know a year ahead of time that she has a book, and then she'll rage through it in the last 6 weeks. And I was like, why?
So okay, there is a little bit of a story there, y'all. So last December, November-December timeframe, Marissa and I both decided to be insane and completely exasperate our husbands because Marissa had a tight, totally exasperated. You guys were totally amazing by letting us be crazy, but we didn't co-write our stuff. This was Marissa writing Plague of Magic for Bane, and I was writing my 4th and final Salvage Bunny book for CKP. And we wrote those books, which were about 140,000 words. We wrote those in 5 weeks because of the power of friendship and insane amounts of caffeine. But it's that like it's not quite the same as co-writing, but it's the same thing. It's that synergy, that energy you get when you're working with somebody that is just as enthusiastic as you are about a project. And that's why Jason and I work so well together, because like we bounce off each other really good, but we're both having so much fun with it that even on the days where it's like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I can't. And then I'll talk with Jason and be like, all right, let's go. 2,000 words. I got this. It's just fun. And it's
like a workout partner.
Yeah. It's an accountability buddy, whether you're working on the same project or different projects. It's so motivating. And it helps.
Yeah, I think our worst day, we only wrote 4,000 words. Our best day, we crushed out like 12,000 words in one day, I think.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's amazing. And honestly, like, I love co-writing and I love writing solo, because co-writing, it's like you get that, like I said, you get that synergy, you get that energy where you're bouncing off of each other and you come up with things that you would not have come up with on your own, which is why it's so great being able to bounce ideas for Griffins off of Jason or Marissa or Casey and be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I'm stuck. Like, being able to use those outside brains is super helpful. But the cool thing when you're doing your own project and it's just you don't actually have to ask anybody for permission. I asked myself and I said yes. Whereas when you're working with somebody else, you have to flex. You have to be flexible. You have to say yes and not, no, that's stupid. No, yes. And what if, okay, we do that and then we do this. And that's where you get the bouncing and coming up with something better than you would have on your own.
So have you ever had this happen where the person that you were talking to, bouncing ideas off of, never says a word? You just do all the talking, but talking yourself through it helps you break through and get the thing. Yeah.
I do that to her, actually. I'm working on this other project kind of on the side right now, and I literally was like, this is my problem. I tell her my problem. She's like, uh-huh. And then I figured out my problem. And she's like, yeah, that sounds great. I'm like, cool. Thanks for helping, Melissa. And then I hung up and I'm like, she didn't say a word. Wait a minute.
Nope. Boy, Casey and I've been doing that for so many years that we actually made a meme about it, because it's like the movie Ocean's 11, where you got Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Their characters are at a bar, and George Clooney's like, "You think we need one more?" And Brad Pitt says nothing. He is just staring with his head on the bar, like. And George Clooney's like, "Yeah, you think you're right. We need one more." And that's.
I thought I had it loaded up here, but I don't.
Yeah, no. So we've been doing that for years. It's just sometimes you just need to talk these things through out loud. You don't need input. All you need is somebody to listen while you work it through. Because if you just work it through in your own head, sometimes all those voices that we have up here, they get in the way. But if we say the words out loud to somebody that is making the right mouth noises of yeah, then it works. It's magic. We don't question these things.
Yeah. So, and I get the different perspectives. It's like you were talking about earlier, Jason, where you're writing and you're having trouble writing the book, and you bring in another perspective, and I could see that in this book, because whose idea was it for the all-female flight crew or flight? Yeah,
Not me.
Yeah. So, but I could see you wanting to bring in a very specific person, someone who has flown, is female, was in the military, and I could see that being helpful. And
now, as promised, one jump ahead. John Moore is a nanotech-enhanced soldier of fortune. Lobo is an AI, a living weapons and intelligence platform of enormous destructive potential. Two very dangerous wolves in a galaxy of deadly corporate and paramilitary predators. But Moore has grown weary of the killing, and just once he'd like to finish a job without leaving a trail of blood behind him. Not going to happen. Not on a pristine planet called Macon, where two gigantic corporations vie for control of the local jump gate and access to the riches of an undeveloped world. Dealing with a kidnapping and extortion scheme is only the beginning for Moore and Lobo as they work to stay one jump ahead.
So he began setting out food, harnesses, 4 pop-up cages, and another test viewer. I scanned the treetops on the other side of the parking area for signs of the Moseys as Lobo kept me posted on what little he could discern. What appeared to be the flock was moving from the launch site toward me. Its speed was consistent with the plan, and so on. A little over 15 minutes later, Lobo relayed the most important news. The flock had crossed Chung's grounds, and all 19 birds were still airborne and heading toward us. I relaxed a little. The vibrant colors of the sunset had begun to morph into somber, inky tones that would soon give way to night. The day was cooling quickly as the sun set. The Moseys flew into view. The Wrangler misted the air with a spray bottle I assumed contained more pheromones and put bits of additional food in the now open cages. The Moseys circled us for a few minutes, enjoying the freedom of the sky and reluctant to surrender it. The chemical net of the pheromones and the installed strange kitty tech drew them down and into the cages. The last few hovered for a little bit just out of reach, moving in gentle spirals on wings working so slowly and perfectly you could almost believe they never really moved. But even those reluctant few finally settled into captivity. The Wrangler closed 3 of the cages and pulled one of the birds from the open 4th. It was as submissive as the one in the truck. A bit back from and below the control stud was a small flap of skin that covered a thumbnail-sized recording module. He popped the module out of its socket and pointed to the module's connector. "Non-metal conductor plug compatible with most mil-spec tech," he said. "They wear out faster than metal, so plug them in once. Get what you need and move the data to more stable media, okay?" He handed me the module. "Got it," I said, as I took the recording. I tested it in the viewer and watched the images at high speed, skipping forward quickly but seeing enough to confirm that it contained coverage of Chung's place. "Good enough," I said. The wrangler nodded and went to work on the other birds. I again counted 19 birds, and he delivered 19 modules. The salesman arrived 10 minutes later. Lobo said he couldn't spot any pursuers. I paid the balance I owed and left as the wrangler was gently carrying the birds one by one into the truck's holding pen. The salesman stood calmly by, smart enough to realize there was no point in trying to rush this man with his charges. We'd spent a lot of time in orbits near Chung's, so while we were analyzing the recon data, I had Lobo park us in a fairly high orbit, about as far away from Chung as possible, in a nice spot over the largely unsettled mountainous region on the continent on the other side of Landkin from Beckon's deal. I had to admire the quality of Lobo's analysis systems. He perfectly and quickly assembled all the recordings from the 19 birds into a composite video and a set of stills showing images in various combinations of wavelengths. Predictably, no one bird had captured all the views I wanted, and most of the time the birds weren't looking directly at the estate. But their flight pattern was wide enough and slow enough, as the strange kitty crew had said it would be, that the composite images completely covered the estate. Almost 24 of the most important still images filled Lobo's wall in front of me as I walked back and forth in his main open area. No matter how long I looked at them, they told me the same basic story. Chung's estate was a fortress, more heavily armed than I'd guessed. Air defense weapons, both missile launchers and energy pulse, squatted in plain sight about 20 meters from each side of the house. Image-match searches of Lobo's weaponry database pegged them as serious, medium, and high-altitude killers, useless for targets below 200 meters, but deadly for anything above that height. At least 24 guards were visible across the estate, some obviously carrying the smart missiles that conventional wisdom had long held were the best choice for combating low-flying attack craft. Lobo might be able to weather a hit from one of those missiles, but he also might not. I didn't want to find out. IR views showed hot sensors scattered across the estate, with a ring of what I had to assume were overlapping area monitors covering the perimeter of the cleared grounds. As I'd observed before, 3 gates, all staffed with guards, led into and out of the property. The size of the estate, the multiple entrances, and the many guards and sensors combined to doom any possibility of a stealth attack with my nanomachines. I've never tried controlling more than half a dozen nanoswarms, and the clouds unavoidably move fairly slowly, certainly at nothing like battlefield weapon speeds. So I had no chance of individually taking down the whole place. Even if I did, explaining that much disassembled matter in a large city like Beckon's deal would be impossible. I couldn't afford the attention. I saw no way to do this job entirely on my own without enduring way too much risk. Involving Lobo didn't improve my chances a lot. Even assuming he came in hot, my options were severely limited and incredibly unattractive. The only one I was sure would work was a total destruction missile and pulse attack from an altitude of about 100 meters on the edge of the forest outside the house. Lobo could fly in quickly enough that only the gate guards would have time to attack, and from the images we had of their weapons, his armor could handle the minimal attack those guards could muster before he killed them. Firing everything he had in one long screaming attack, he could take out the whole area, scorch the turf and everything on it, but that did me no good. I needed Chung alive. Worse, that much destruction and death would tornado into enough news locally that the FC would have to come after me. They might be able to write off Chung's loss as a standard corporate casualty, part of the risk of operating on still developing worlds, but some of his guards were bound to be talent recruited locally, with local ties, and their deaths would provoke an outcry the FC couldn't ignore. The FC would then use the saw to get me, of course, and I doubted I'd live to walk away from that fight. No, total destruction wasn't a reasonable option. Any more finely targeted approach would, of course, leave Lobo open to the handheld missiles. Losing Lobo was also not an acceptable choice. We could, perhaps, boost the odds of success by first blanketing the area with mil-spec sensor disruptors and hoping Chung's sensor web was old tech, not likely, but possible. But the guards would then take Chung and leave. Clusters of armored vehicles stood ready to roll at the intersection of each of the 3 roads with the house. I had to assume that these guys would use standard protection protocols. So, at the first sign of attack, all 3 sets of vehicles would roar out of there at high speed, and I'd have to guess which one held Chung. The more I stared at the images, the more I was convinced that I had to change the game's rules if I wanted to play at all. "Lobo," I said, "I can't come up with a plan that doesn't involve massive casualties and that also guarantees we emerge alive and with Chung. Can you?" "No," he said. "Quite the opposite. Logic dictates we can't guarantee success within the axioms you've set. Your rules don't allow us to destroy the entire place, so we're left with 2 of us to cover 3 well-spaced exit routes. This is obviously not possible." "Yeah," I said, "it isn't. We can't do it." I stretched out on a pilot's couch, the images on the wall blanking as I moved away from them. I had to stop avoiding the reality in front of me and accept the only real solution to the problem, or start running and hope Chung, Osterlad's team, and everyone else Chung contracted would eventually tire of searching for me. The latter was unacceptable. As little as I wanted to follow the only path I could discover that would get Chung, I had even less desire to spend all my days in heightened paranoia, even if the paranoia was justified. "The answer," I said, "is just as obvious, but I hate it." "What?" Lobo said. "I have to get some help."
This has been the Bane Free Radio Hour. Thanks for joining us at the heart of science fiction. Join us next week as Jeremy Comeaux's interview of the team of Jason Cordova and Melissa Olthoff on To Tread Obsidian Shores continues. And later, we continue with part 45 of One Jump Ahead by Mark L. Van Name. Score by Ruth Judkowitz.